Hello, and welcome to this Microsoft Reactor workshop this evening. My name is Erika, and I am the program manager at Microsoft Reactor Stockholm. Before we begin, I would just like to say a very quick word about Microsoft's Code of Conduct. We all come from different backgrounds, but we are all here to learn. So please be aware of each other and be welcoming and respectful to all points of views. Thank you. Today is the fourth episode of the SaaS Academy Tech Track series, and today we will be talking all about delivering your SaaS application through the Azure Marketplace. This session is going to be led by David and Julio, who are both software engineers at Microsoft. But now I will hand over the word to Doreen. There we are. I will hand over the word to Doreen, who is going to introduce the SaaS Academy itself and our speakers. Over the word to you.
Thank you so much, Erika. Hi, everyone. Good day, and welcome to our SaaS Academy technical webinar. For those of you who are not familiar with the program, the SaaS Academy was inspired by Satya Nadella's vision that every business will become a software company, build application, use analytics, and provide SaaS services. That's why we created this as a global motion that will focus on the building blocks and pitfalls to avoid when building a SaaS solution. We have business and technical track broadcast that are often on Tuesday and Wednesdays, respectively. Our webinar today will focus on how to deliver a SaaS solution through the Azure Marketplace. If you're not familiar with our marketplace, think of it as a one-stop shop for purchasing software for enterprise companies. Now, I'm aware that this idea may still sound far-fetched for some people, but we are seeing a growing demand by some of our enterprise customers asking their software providers to have a solution transacted available in our marketplace. And in the B2C world, it's a solid reality, right? I don't even know any person that would rather go into a store to buy Windows or Office, for example, rather than use their card and get access with a few links. So today, I'm very happy to introduce David Starr and Julio Colón, both my colleagues from Microsoft. David is a principal software engineer for Cloud and AI division, and Julio is a senior software engineer working in the Cloud and AI division as well. Without further ado, I introduce you to them, and I hope you will have a great session.
All right, thank you very much. I wonder if you could share my screen. There we go. Great. So, as was mentioned just a moment ago by Doreen, the Azure Marketplace is a place where organizations can come and buy software for their organization from others. And this is about putting your solution, your software into the Azure Marketplace so that you can sell to other organizations. So you can see that Julio and I have our social links up there, so you can follow and connect with us on LinkedIn and on Twitter. Always enjoy that. And with that, I will go ahead and kick this off. And Julio is going to take over in just a little bit. Okay, so the Azure Marketplace turns out to have several different types of offerings that you can make through your solution. You can install your software on a virtual machine, and you can offer that to your customers. You can have something called a managed application, which is a little bit more complex of an application that lives in the customer's tenant. And finally, you can have SaaS applications, which is, of course, what we're going to focus on today, SaaS applications for the Azure Marketplace. Now, it turns out, as we look at SaaS in the Azure Marketplace, there are some attributes that we can cover. First of all, there are more SaaS offers in the marketplace than any other type of offer, and that's by a pretty wide margin. And pricing is as a subscription. There is monthly and annual pricing, and customers subscribe to your SaaS solution. And that's how we talk about it rather than making a purchase. I'm going to go ahead and actually stop my camera just to save on bandwidth since we're coming from all over the world today. Next, this is a solution that is deployed into your solution as the publisher. So given the solution is deployed into your solution as the publisher, then you need to take into account billing for the Azure services that your solution consumes, and then pass that along with your licensing fees, of course, on to your customers. And finally, it supports metered billing. Metered billing is the idea that we can charge per usage. So in addition to our monthly and annual charging models, we're able to also charge on a usage-based paradigm. And I'll show what that means here in just a moment by looking at what we have as our portal for our customers, or our partners, I should say, who are selling their solutions, called Partner Center. So if you're selling your solutions on the marketplace, you're going to start here in Partner Center. We're going to go to Marketplace Offers, and you'll see here that I have 3 offers already defined. Each one of them happens to be a software as a service type of application. However, you can see over here that not only can I build software as a service, but I can build that Azure managed application, that virtual machine that we talked about, and several other types of applications, most of which are not what we refer to as transactable, meaning that they don't, that Microsoft doesn't bill directly to your client for you. And the top 3 up there are the ones that we really want to focus on when we're building solutions for the marketplace. I'm going to start out by going into a solution that I've defined here, SaaS Demo 1. In here, you can see that I have 3 different plans, gold, platinum, and silver, that are part of my offer. So when a customer comes to my offer, they can buy a gold plan, a platinum plan, or a silver plan, of course. I'm going to go into one of these plans. Let's go into platinum. And this is just a little bit about the search results you'll get when looking at that plan. But here on pricing and availability, you see that we can offer up to 141 markets into which you can sell your solution. I happen to have chosen United States because that's where all of my Azure resources live, like my active regions. So in addition, here are the monthly and yearly costs. Now I've put in 0 because it's a demo. I don't want to be charged for my demo, obviously. And this is the metered billing component that we talked about just a moment ago. And we've selected metered billing on this particular plan. And the scenario here is that we've got something like an optical character recognition company that scans doctors' handwritten notes and puts them into an electronic medical record. And with my base price, my monthly base price, and let's pretend for a moment that that's, say, $10,000, I get 5,000 scanned pages for that $10,000, and I get 2,500 writes back to my EMR for that $2,500. So that's the idea behind pricing in our SaaS offers, and that's how it works within Partner Center. So let's go ahead and jump ahead and look at the way the partner SaaS application interacts with our marketplace APIs. So we have a couple of different APIs that the SaaS application will want to talk to. And in addition, there's something called a landing page that I'm going to take you through in just a moment. A landing page is where a customer goes to configure their account with your SaaS solution. That'll make a little bit more sense, hopefully, in just a moment. That landing page talks to our SaaS Fulfillment API. That API gives us access to information like subscription information, who has subscribed to what plans that you've made available, for example, and what subscriptions exist from your current customers. In addition, we have that metered billing API. And as you can imagine, with usage-based pricing, this means that your SaaS application is likely going to be talking to that metering billing API directly. So with that, let's dive in a little bit more deeply on what a landing page looks like and how it behaves. Let's see if I can find it. I have a example set up for us. Here we are. So this is an offer within the Microsoft Azure Marketplace. And I'm going to show you that I can look at the different plans, silver, platinum, and gold. Those are the ones we saw defined in Partner Center. I can see the prices over here, including the metered billing prices. I'm going to go ahead and select Get It Now. And with this, I should be able to actually purchase. It's not loving me today. Let's jump back to Partner Center. I'm going to go up to my SaaS demo, and I'll follow a different link that will allow me to purchase this offering. So I'll go to this offer. There we go. And you can see that I'm able to select between my different plans. I'll select gold for this one. Go ahead and subscribe. And when I subscribe, I'm going to get a representation of my SaaS application. This is as a customer, mind you. And I'm going to put that into my SaaS demo purchases resource group. And I'll call this demo, or I'll call it SaaS demo 5. Let's just call it 05. And I can inspect my cost, and I can select whether I want recurring billing on or off. I'll go ahead and hit review. I can take one more chance to review all of my configuration, and this will take a moment or so. What's happening is we're provisioning that SaaS representation instance, and that is going to show up again on the customer side of our Azure web portal. So far, we've made no interaction with the partner or the publisher's SaaS application thus far. And when we complete this purchase, which we've just done, I'm going to select Configure Account Now. And when I do this, this is going to open up the landing page. This is what we were referring to just a moment ago. And I'll admit that my landing page that I've coded up here is running on it's running on shared resources. So it took just a moment to load. Now, this is obviously a very demo-focused landing page. You would want to brand this with your organization collateral. Note up here, there are a couple of things to note. One is that this is a website that has nothing to do with the marketplace per se. In fact, it can be hosted on your website. Let's say it could be elegantcode.com/landing page, something to that effect. The requirement simply is that we integrate with Azure Active Directory so that we can pull information about the customer in a read-only manner. So I'll show you down here the information that can be derived from the purchase process that you might choose to show on your landing page. This user claims data is coming from a cookie with a JWT body, not very interesting, but we are integrating, as we said, with Azure SSO, which gives us these Microsoft graph values that we are displaying on our primary landing page. And then values about our subscription. We've actually reached back out to that fulfillment API, and we have brought in some of the information that we can bring about that subscription. And then finally, the different plans, silver, gold, and platinum. And you may note, of course, that gold is the plan that we signed up for. Notice the pending fulfillment start state of this subscription. I can actually go back to our primary landing page, and we can see that it is in the pending fulfillment start state. What this means is that the publisher has not yet begun billing for this application. There may be some setup that's required, and in fact, that setup can even be manual. We would love it to be an automated provisioning process such that when a customer purchases or subscribes to a SaaS application, that customer is auto provisioned into perhaps a multi-tenant application. Doesn't have to be multi-tenant, but ideally, as you probably know, with SaaS, that's how we'd like to see things. And from here, the publisher can request, please activate my account. In this case, we've provided them a message. Thank you for submitting your subscription for activation. And in again, in this case, this is probably a manual setup. And the reason we know it's a manual setup is because it's going to take 1 to 3 days to activate the account rather than it being automatically created. This is by far the most common setup technique that we find with SaaS applications in the marketplace is a manual setup process like this, after which we notify the uh, customer that we have activated their account. Here we have a sort of dashboard for working with the subscriptions that we find have signed up for our signed up for our SaaS applications. And you'll notice that we have pending fulfillment start on 3 of them. One is subscribed, and this is what we want to see when we start billing. So at the point where we start billing, here's the purchase we just made, by the way, SaaS Demo 5. And notice that it is in the pending fulfillment start state. So we haven't yet provisioned that customer. Let's go back and do so. Or let's go ahead and do so. We can go into this particular offer and note we're in pending fulfillment start, of course. We'll call activate this subscription. This is a call back to that fulfillment API that we mentioned a moment ago. We'll go ahead and activate that subscription. And the subscription is now in a subscribed state, which means we've now begun billing. Let's go back and notice one more thing about our landing page that we hit a few moments ago. And remember, this is the customer that hit this page. And there was a token passed. We call this a Marketplace Purchase ID token. This token, this big blob of information here, is going to allow us to resolve the subscription when we look at the fulfillment API. And let's talk about a little bit more about that workflow and what that might look like. So this is what happened a few moments ago as we went through that landing page process. Someone selected Get It Now. The subscription was created, and then they clicked on that landing page. They clicked configure account, and they passed the marketplace engine passed that purchase ID token to the landing page. That was the token equals and then the blob that we saw. And then from there, that's the publisher service, meaning that landing page will actually reach out and log in the customer using Azure Active Directory SSO using the Graph API. They, from that, receive an access token to use in making subsequent calls to the Microsoft SaaS API. Now, this access token happens to be in bare JWT format. We saw the body of that decoded just a few moments ago. And with that, we are able to then call the landing page. Remember, we're still on the landing page. Calls with that access token, that bearer JWT token, and calls a resolve endpoint, which allows us to then receive the purchase details, showing them back on the landing page. And of course, any questions that anyone may have would be great to throw into chat anytime. All right. Now, everything we saw happen in that process, particularly in that sequence diagram, those were REST calls that were being made back and forth between the landing page and the SaaS Fulfillment API. However, our team has created a set of client libraries in different languages for different stacks that wrap up those REST APIs and make things much more convenient for you. In the case of .NET, for example, we are strongly typed for .NET and Java. Python and Node, of course, a little bit different in their implementations. And we have a Golang coming up very soon. You can learn more about these, and you can find these client libraries at the URL below, aka.ms/marketplace samples. And there are links to these client libraries plus a host of other things that will help you get started. I'm going to jump over to some code that shows how we use that client library to make these calls. And I've injected this client library up here on a controller. We're looking at ASP.NET MVC application, very simple one. And we've injected this marketplace client, SaaS client. Now, this is the primary client with which we're going to talk to that fulfillment API. And in our index action, we take that purchase ID token as a parameter. We make sure that it exists, and then we call that endpoint resolve that allows us to get information back about the purchase being made. So we get that resolved subscription here. Next, we make this call to list available plans, passing in the ID of the subscription that we just resolved. And with that, we're able to display the plan that's being purchased. This is exactly what you saw via the landing page. This is, in fact, the landing page itself. So we'll jump back over to our deck here and note that there are some things that are required for building a SaaS application and some which aren't. They're optional. So required is that landing page with that Azure Active Directory single sign-on and with the interaction with that fulfillment API. Next is something we haven't talked about yet, which is a webhook. The publisher needs to provide a webhook for the marketplace engine to call when there are changes to subscription state. So, for example, a customer may cancel their subscription to your product, or they may choose to change a plan. Remember, I believe we bought a gold plan. We could change to a premium plan or a uh, platinum plan. And in doing so, our webhook would receive that information and we could take proper action to fulfill that request. Some things that are optional are metered billing. We don't have to have metered billing as part of our solution. Usage-based billing really depends on your scenario and how your SaaS product bills. We may just live with monthly or annual billing without metered billing at all. You might choose to do automated provisioning and automated cleanup of customer accounts. This is ideal, and it does require a bit of investment on the customer's part, of course, to do that automated, or on the publisher's part, to do that automated provisioning and do that automated cleanup when a customer cancels their subscription. Finally, you're probably going to want some kind of publisher dashboard. And what I mean by that is we can receive all this information on that webhook above, but it doesn't do us much good if we can't see it. And so you saw a very simple example of a publisher dashboard when we used it to activate our customer account. So that was about the simplest dashboard you could possibly imagine, but we typically need to build one for our organization so that we're able to manage our customer subscriptions. And we'll add a few more things to that model that we saw a moment ago, where the SaaS application is talking to these APIs. We're going to add that webhook. That webhook is actually called by the marketplace engine when there are changes to status of a subscription, as we mentioned. And finally, with that information coming from that webhook, we would typically build a management application so that we could take action on those webhook events. And speaking of those webhook events, here they are. And things like when someone changes a plan, when they change the quantity of the number of units in the subscription that they have already purchased. When account is suspended, that may mean that a credit card has gone um, has failed a transaction from Microsoft, something like that. And finally, when a subscription is in a suspended state, we could reinstate it because perhaps they've gone in and put in a new payment instrument that is now valid. So these are the sorts of states that we see coming in on that webhook. And one thing I really want to recommend to you is that we have a custom workshop coming up, very hands-on, lots of hands-on lab demos in just a few weeks on March 1st. And we would love it if you signed up and joined us for this workshop. It's a live most of the day event, as you can see by the hours on the screen there. And aka.ms/SaaS Marketplace Workshop is what we're looking at there. It is where you can go to sign up. And coming out of that, you will actually build your very own SaaS solution in that class and be prepared to go back to your SaaS solution and bring it into the Azure Marketplace. And with that, I believe Julio is going to take us through the next set of content.
All right. Yes. So let's talk about the SaaS accelerator. Thank you, David.
Let's get your screen showing if we can.
Yeah.
I'll stop sharing.
Okay, I'm sharing. Hopefully you can see it. Let me know when you see it.
We can see your screen there. Good.
Awesome. Cool. So hello, everyone. This is Julio Colón again. I work with David also on the marketplace, on the technical onboarding team. And let's talk about the SaaS Accelerator. Just to start, the SaaS Accelerator is an open source, community-driven application. It is in GitHub. And the reason why we have the accelerator is to help you as a publisher to bring your solution into the marketplace. So it's a reference implementation. It's been used by many of our publishers, and it includes all the requirements that are needed for the marketplace, right? So David talked about the landing page, a webhook, and a publisher portal. Some of them are optional, some of them are required. You can actually, with Accelerator, meet all those requirements and has additional features like the publisher portal. It is great that we have client libraries. It's great that we have a REST API, so you have options. So you have an amazing team, and they want to go in and use all those client libraries. They can just go and write against known languages and or REST APIs. But if you're a team that you have a team that is busy, or you need somehow something already out of the box that works for your company, so you keep your developers working on your SaaS application, then the SaaS Accelerator may be that piece of the puzzle to get into the marketplace without having to spend too much effort. All right. And the last thing is that the SaaS Accelerator install in minutes. So it is fairly quick. Usually can be done in less than 30 minutes. And your team will have an environment there for testing, see that everything in your SaaS offer works as appropriate, and then take action to see how you can take it to the next level, which is production. The links to all the codes that we're gonna be showing today, and the Mastering the Marketplace, which cover not only the SaaS Accelerator but the SaaS offer, is all here on the corner on the bottom right. Okay, so let's go over and jump into a demo. Let me close this up. Move on. Okay. And then I'm gonna show you here. If you go to the GitHub, we have Commercial Marketplace SaaS Accelerator here at the top. This is the page. This is where the code resides, and all the information is here. We could talk about the introduction. We have an installation, and we have diagrams on how the accelerator works. From what David mentioned before, you do need to have a subscriber portal. He showed sample code that you can actually download from David's from our repository, which is a bare bone landing page. The accelerator provides you a more complete landing page experience with all the connection to the database. So there's some synchronization between the subscriber portal and the administration portal, which means that we also provide you an administration portal where you can manage those users that buy your subscriptions. Okay. So keep in mind, this is a diagram. We also covered, another diagram here with the different components. The SaaS Accelerator is provided by you with a couple of components. One is we do use the official library for the marketplace, the C# version of it. We implemented the webhook. We have a customer registration page, which is running in a web app, and that covers the plan management. And we also have a publisher solution where you manage your users. You can also emit meters. Like David mentioned, there's a section of offer where you can charge monthly or yearly, but you can also cover the metering service for like one-off kind of meters. And all this environment is connected to a database. Okay, so if you're new to Accelerator and you want to do a quick installation, you proceed here to the installation instructions link. Over here, we have a nice video. Same demo that I'm going to be showing here is already recorded with David's awesome radio voice. So you can go back and redo this again if you need to and review it. So the first thing is I'm going to copy all this command here that we're providing to you for an out-of-the-box experience. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open Notepad, and I'm going to copy that. Okay. There are a couple of commands that I'm gonna go over it. This is, we're now upgrading our accelerator to version 6. So we use a Cloud Shell for the installation of the accelerator. So we make sure that you do have the correct .NET version for it. And we also have, we clone the repo that I just showed you, and proceed to run a script that will deploy this in one bit. So there are a couple of things you need to change on the accelerator. One is there's a prefix that we use to keep things simple. So I'm gonna change this prefix to reactor. Yep. And then there's a SQL server that I need, which also needs a unique name. I'm gonna do reactor here as well. It needs a SQL login. You can do admin login. You can do change the login if you need to, and then also you can use a password for it. The other thing is you may want to add your email for your team, and this is for the publisher section. So you as an admin can log into the environment and manage your users. And it needs a resource group as well inside your Azure account. Let's do reactor. And a location, also need a location for where your code is going to be deployed inside your Azure account. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste that on Azure itself. Okay. So once I'm in Azure and I'm logged in, I click on the Cloud Shell, which is this command here. I'm going to open it right here. While we wait for that, there is one more thing that I want to show you. Okay, it came in. Awesome. And I just paste it. So paste as plain text, press enter, and off it goes. Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna move it out. That's how easy the accelerator will go through. I do need to select my tenant ID. You're gonna pick the default. I need a subscription. Pick a default. And yeah, that should get it going. Again, it takes some minutes there, so we're not gonna wait it. I'm just gonna execute it so you see that it's going. Now let's go back here to the demo. So while the accelerator is kicking in and deploying on my Azure account, I'm gonna now show you what is the process to buy something from the marketplace using the accelerator as the place where you receive your customers. So I'm gonna go into the Azure Marketplace. For that, I go into the Azure portal. I'm gonna click on Marketplace. Okay, I do have a development account on my private offer, which is only for me as a user. So this is a public area. I'm gonna go on the view private products. This is where your customer will see like special deals and special pricing. So I do have a special pricing for my own account. I do have one called demo. Search for it. It's right here. Okay. I'm gonna pick a plan. I'm gonna pick the basic plan, and I'm gonna click subscribe. Okay. So now as a customer, I'm gonna select a Azure subscription. This is how I'm gonna be paying for that SaaS offer. I need a resource group where my receipt is gonna be stored. This is technically a location where I can go back and change how my plan is configured if I need to. I need a name so I can remember which purchase is this. So I call it reactor because you can have multiple purchases of the same SaaS offer. And then I'm gonna say, no, I don't wanna do recurring. Okay, I'm gonna click review. Here, this is what I see the legal aspect of a purchase. And if there's any addendum, it will show right between the Microsoft standard contract and the private policy. I can review everything right here and then click subscribe. Okay, so while we wait for the subscription to be connected, I just want to make sure that there's a distinction between the Azure subscription that I selected to pay the offer and the Marketplace subscription, which is used to recognize the SaaS offer that I'm going to be subscribed to, right? So there are two different things. The Azure subscription is to pay, and this Marketplace SaaS subscription is the one to recognize for the purchase of the SaaS offer. Okay. If for some reason I walk away from the screen and go get some tea, let's say, when this button turns blue, I will also get an email in my inbox saying, Julio, we noticed you walk away. Please come back and click configure account. Because when I click configure account, this is where I'm going to be now move away from the Azure portal and be transferred into the landing page. So I'm going to click that button. Notice how the Azure portal disappeared, and now I am in the accelerator. This is an already deployed accelerator. This is a welcome page. It's an open source project. Of course, you can change your color, you can change the icons, you can change how you're receiving your customer. But this is what the out of the box experience looks like. So you as a customer, I'm already signed in, so you will see my information. But if I go into private mode and put the same URL, you will notice that I'm going to get prompt, right? I did not get prompt because I'm already signed up. But this is how you will see your customers, how the customer will see their information to confirm that they want to subscribe to this offer. So you notice that there's an email that you can collect. You can connect the Marketplace subscription ID. You can collect the reactor, which is the reactor, the name of the ticket for the subscription. This is the name that the user picked for the subscription. You will see also the status of the subscription. You will see the plan that I selected as a customer, and my email and my Azure tenant. I will talk about this coupon section. This is not part of the out-of-the-box experience, but I'm adding it here so you see that in the future, if you want to add additional fields to the accelerator, it is possible. So I'm going to click Activate. This is a delay activation, meaning that I'm going to click Activate, but I'm not going to be actually subscribed for charges. I see that I'm in pending activation. And this, as a customer, if I'm buying or subscribing to an offer that is going to take time to build, that is not automated provision, this is where everything will stop for me here. So technically, I got the subscription, but I'm not active. Nothing is going to get charged until the publisher clicked Activate. Okay, so now let's change hats now, and I'm going to go in and switch and see what is the publisher experience. Okay, so in order to change that, I'm gonna change this portal word here in my URL and type admin. And you'll see that automatically the color change. That means that I'm in the publisher experience. And if you're seeing the Marketplace Partner Center, this is kind of the same color set that we use. So that should give you a cue of I'm in the publisher side or I'm in the customer side. So in the publisher side, right, I will see that I have a set of subscriptions. I see the reactor one that I selected, that I purchased, and then I see that it's a pending activation. This is where now, as a publisher, I will go into maybe a command line or tell my team, hey, the reactor team just subscribe, please provision something for them. Send them an email with the information on how to use a tenant once provisioned. And once we do that, let's click activate. Right, so I'm going to click activate here. I'm going to confirm that. I'm going to go back to subscription, and this is going to take some seconds. Actually, it's already done, which is great. And this is to see now I'm subscribed from now on because I click activate on the publisher side as a publisher. Then, whatever was the billing plan with the monthly, yearly, it will be then start charging. Okay, so that's how a subscription gets activated from the publisher's point of view. If you have a team who everything is automated, that you don't have to wait for any of this, then you can change this behavior to be automatically activated. How do I do that? So we added initially this version, which is a couple of months now old. We added a new application config in here, and then you can configure your email. So you want to get notifications when a customer is pending for fulfillment, if you need to change the name, if you want to make the subscription automatic. So here it is, it's set to false. So you change that to true, and you automatically this update the system, restart your web apps, of course, to take or for all these changes to make effect, and you should be ready to go. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back to home, and I'm gonna show you that coupon code. How did I added that coupon there? So if I go on the offers, right, I can go over my offer, click edit, and here is where I added my coupon. Of course, you can add more rows, and I say, well, I need a coupon with name coupon as an ID, display coupon. You can type some description there and the type of value that is going to be on that form, and I'm going to activate it, and you click save and save changes. Okay. Now, once you have the coupon, you can go and then activate for any of the plan under that offer. So if I go under basic, you notice that I'm going to go on the parameters, and coupon is checked already. And that's what it showed when as a customer, I landed on that landing page. Of course, we also have events. So if you want to get emails on activation, on unsubscription, or pending activation, this is related to that webhook that David mentioned. Then you can add the emails, and you will get notification if you have an email server configured. Okay. All right. One last thing that I want to go over is is the metering. So I'm going to find a plan that has meters. Okay, and it's active because I want to show that if you have a plan that has meters and is active, then on the menus here, you can also emit that meter. So you can select a quantity, you can select a dimension for that meter that was set up. And, this is an example here where I'm, kind of like recognizing if a person is, crying or smiling. And if you have a meter that says, well, I'm going to charge 1 cent for every tier that I've recognized with the AI system, then you can, emit those meters here manually. Of course, automated will be the best way to have this running. And another thing that you can do from the accelerator is you can actually change the plans. So you can go over any plan. Let's say the customer exceeded their plan and they want to go a more advanced plan. Like David had, bronze, platinum. You can go. I have basic. You can change that to a different plan and click change plan, and that will take in effect as well. Some customers may want to do something that is not appropriate and you want to unsubscribe them. This is something that the accelerator also does for you. So it allows you to unsubscribe, and you can see unsubscribe them. And then also you have the activity log, which is how you see all the the changes on that subscription. Okay. One more thing is you have any other code. Let's say you already have a SaaS offer. I mean, if someone here in the audience already has something implemented and say, well, Julio, I like yours better, or Julio has some previous sample that we used from the marketplace. Can I still use this? And the answer is yes. We added this new feature where if you deploy the accelerator, we can now import all the previous subscription into the accelerator, so you can manage it from the same page. Okay. And that I think finished the accelerator piece. The accelerator is still going. It's still 11 minutes. It's still not done. I'd say like it takes less than 20, but this is how it's still going, but it's going. Okay. Now, in the essence of time, just I knew that sometimes it takes that long. So I do have an output, and this is how it looks. So once accelerator completes, this is what is going to happen. The accelerator will show you an output with the different parameters that need to be copied and pasted in the Partner Center. So if you go into Partner Center, under the technical configuration for your SaaS offer, right, you're going to copy and paste these 4 different strings, right? And with that, you technically fulfilled your technical configuration requirements, and you are good to go to start receiving your customers. Okay. So I'm gonna now switch back to David. David, anything else that we should cover here?
One thing I failed to mention is that the output of the installer that we just saw goes onto a tab within Partner Center called Technical Configuration. And you set up your technical configuration in Partner Center on a particular SaaS offer. But it looks like Julio is going to show us. That's great.
Yep.
And those values that the SaaS Accelerator installer provides to us go in here and we help fill that out. So I also just want to reiterate that we looked at the ability to build your very own SaaS application, and Julio walked us through a reference implementation that is complete, and we have many customers, partners already using that solution as their complete solution. So here we're going to look at the technical configuration tab, I believe.
Yep, they're here.
Which is where the values from that installer, the end of the installer, go. Just makes things simpler for you when you install that accelerator. So that accelerator just saves so much time for folks who don't want to go about implementing their own custom SaaS solution. And the last thing I'll say is that although we talked about several different models of fulfillment that might be a little bit more manual, maybe it's scripted on the customer side or on the publisher side, the publisher can absolutely tap into the accelerator and automate provisioning of their customer accounts instead of doing that manually. Anything else to add there?
Yeah, no, you're right on point.
Okay, so I'll take the screen and we'll share one more slide for folks to engage with us a little bit more.
Okay, it seems like the accelerator that I was running actually is starting now cleaning up, which is good. It means that almost done. And as you see, I put actually a timer there for people to see. Like it's cleaning up, which means that it's complete, and it took about 15 minutes. All right, David, I'm gonna leave you with the screen now.
Okay.
Stop sharing.
All right. And I'll go ahead and share my screen again. And what we have here, once it renders, I'm not seeing my
Yeah, I'm not seeing your screen, David.
share. Let me try this one more time. There we are. So maybe this is a good time for you to take a screenshot. And note that we've got a lot of resources here for you to get started and get all the way through completion of building your custom SaaS solutions or of installing and working with the SaaS Accelerator. So firstly, we have the marketplace samples and resources we talked about, where you can find information about our client libraries, which we discussed, and you can implement in any stack you want for the most part. Other samples and pointers to educational resources exist at Marketplace Samples. And the SaaS Accelerator and Workshop are available here. We're hosting a workshop on just the accelerator on March 3rd, which is going to give you everything in the world you could possibly want on the SaaS Accelerator. And finally, Mastering the Marketplace. This is a initiative that we have to give video and hands-on labs and sample code for all of the different offer types that we might have. I'm actually going to jump out to that page so that you can see it really quickly. Here we go. It's a GitHub repository. But if we scroll down, you can see that we have educational materials on SaaS offers, on SaaS Accelerator, managed applications, which is a different type of offer, as well as virtual machine offers. So let's go into the SaaS offer series real quick. And you can see that we've spent quite a bit of time building out some video learning modules that are hosted on YouTube in partnership with the Reactor, and some hands-on labs that you can actually perform to get a better idea of how to build your custom SaaS offers. And also, back to the SaaS Accelerator series, because it's so much simpler, we have just a few videos helping you use the SaaS Accelerator and get it installed and running. So back to our link slide here. We have Marketplace office hours every week that you are welcome to sign up for and learn more about the Marketplace. We also have Marketplace developer office hours, which we have replaced with the standard Marketplace office hours above. However, there are some very valuable recordings, and they are all technical in nature out here at Marketplace developer office hours. And with that, I'll just draw attention to the workshops that are going to be running on March 1st, 3rd, and 8th, to include the custom SaaS workshop there at the bottom. That's the one where you build your very own solution. The March 3rd workshop that focuses on the accelerator. And finally, although this wasn't the topic of discussion today, if you are interested in building managed applications for the Azure Marketplace, you'll walk away with a dearth of information about managed applications, and you can register here, aka.ms/AMA workshop. And with that, I will hand it back to Rob. Thank you very much for having us today. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Julio and David. Great session, and thank you for the call out as well towards the end, your call to actions. I just want to remind everybody that you can find all our upcoming SaaS Academy sessions on our meetup group. We are going to be uploading the new events by next week, so please do follow our meetup, which is meetup.com/Microsoft Reactor/London, also please do check out aka.ms/SaaS Academy for everything related to SaaS Academy. And as again, thank you very much for joining us on this session. We hope to see you on the next one, which will be on the 30th of March, but we will be uploading all the details about that session by next week. Before we go and I end the broadcast, I would like to show you the SaaS Academy video, which we were meant to show in the beginning, but for some reason we missed out. But here you go, have a look, see what SaaS Academy is all about.
Did you know that every business will eventually become a software business? Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella not only made that prediction, but also continues to lead Microsoft to SaaSify its portfolio. With SaaS solutions, you can grow your business and make even sophisticated enterprise applications like ERP and CRM affordable if you lack the resources to buy, deploy, and manage your infrastructure and software. So, how to get started with SaaS? That's why we created the Microsoft SaaS Academy. It is your chance to deep dive into the latest Microsoft technologies and learn more about the future of software as a service from Microsoft experts, partners, and customers. Our SaaS Academy was designed with a business track and a tech track to provide companies like yours with the SaaS knowledge that fulfills their needs. Our business track covers the SaaS fundamentals, whether you are a cloud-native company or a traditional software provider, while the tech track addresses technical aspects of building a SaaS solution, including SaaS architecture, DevOps, and sustainable software engineering. You can get started with SaaS in the same time it would take you to build a Microsoft PowerPoint about it. Ready to accelerate your journey to SaaS? Don't miss our upcoming webinars and join the Microsoft SaaS Academy now.